Hey everybody, it's your pal Trandell. Welcome back to another Once Human video. Um, this one's going to be aimed directly at the developers. It's definitely something that I have encountered in the game just recently now that I've made it towards the end of the game where we are currently at in the beta. That I think really needs to be looked at and changed because it's a very to just be honest and blunt, it's a very bad game design decision. And what we're going to be talking about is aluminum. So once you get towards the end of the game, the most high-end resource that you can make, almost all this stuff down here is going to cost aluminum ingots. And if you look at the materials required, this is what I want to talk about. And this is the very honestly, it's a very bad game design choice and very player unfriendly decision that they made here. And what I'm talking about is the fact that now acid is required to forge these aluminum ingots. And that is just a horrible decision. And I'm going to explain in depth why. For any of you that have played the game at any length, as you've progressed, as you've gone further and further through the game, you will start noticing that acid is used for all kinds of stuff. It's easily one of, if not the most used resources in the whole entire game. And I'm going to break it down so you just know how valuable this resource is. So just starting off at the synthesis bench, all your deviation formulas will require for acid for one. Every single one will require for acid for one. Glow sticks require them. All the glow sticks require acid. Weapon powder requires acid. Just to make one weapon powder, well, that's 3 acid right there out the window. Mixed explosives require acid. There's another 5 acid out the window. Stun grenades. Where is it? There's another 4 acid. Gone. Activators, which are pretty much the basis of all healing items, because basically you get the first original basic activator that costs 1, but then all the other healing items that you learn after that all require activators. So basically all the healing items in some way, shape, or form require acid. Adrenaline shot. Adrenaline shot is a huge one. Let's see. That requires 8 acid for one adrenaline shot. A lot of the scanners also require acid too. I believe they're over here. Yeah, third eye requires 1, and there's another one also in the tree, the Lonely Echo scanner, that also requires acid. But yeah, here's the glow stick. One glow stick's going to cost you 5 acid. And it's just insane. And those are only the recipes that I know of and have been able to catalog. It's just insane that with this already bloated list of items, especially things like weapon powder, something super important. I mean, you already got one thing, your ammo, that is basically a requirement in the game, using tons of acid to keep your ammo up. But now you got you add in healing items, which is another huge part. of just basic survival. You got all your deviant formulas. So guess what? All that time you have spent unlocking, different deviants to learn their formulas, like wings or, the chrysalis elixir or the pounding heart. Well, guess what? Now those items are also fighting over your acid resources. And to add aluminum in there too, I mean, and to add insult to injury, it wouldn't be quite so bad if there was an actual viable, reliable way to farm and gather acid. The problem is there isn't. The only way I've been able to find so far to get acid is just to grind and kill enemies. And even then, it's not a guaranteed drop. I literally just got done spending half an hour running around one of the towns, killing everything in sight, looting everything in sight, and this is what I ended up with. 38 acid for like over half an hour of farming. Because it's not a guaranteed drop. You're not going to get it off of every single mob. And even when you do get it, the numbers fluctuate, it seems like. My worst run, I was keeping count. Out of 12 enemies I killed, only 2 dropped acid. I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. I mean, this right here, this can be wiped out by, one activator and a couple deviant formulas. And again, that's not even talking about any tactical items you want to make. That's not talking about the fact that, you're going to need acid for weapon powder. I mean, weapon powder alone, again, weapon powder alone is going to cost you 3 acid for 1. So if you want to make a stack of, let's say, 10 steel rifle ammo, I mean, and this isn't, this is a perfect example. See, just for 1 stack of steel ammo, that's 2 weapon powder, which means that's 6 acid that you need just to make 1 stack of ammunition. This is absolutely insane. The list of items that already require acid as part of their base or usage is already way too bloated. To add aluminum ingots to it as well is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely insane. They're already difficult enough to make anyways, because if you notice in my base, I don't have the furnace in my base that is required to make those ingots, because it requires 2 energy, which my energy limit at my personal base is already maxed out at 40. So I had to build those furnaces at my hive base just so I can craft the stupid things. So you already have an electrical wattage requirement just to craft it. It's not like you can make these things in just your regular old furnace. But then to add one of the most used resources in the game, acid, on top of that, it's just, again, it's a bad game design choice. And honestly, it feels like it's purposely done to just force grinding. And that's one of the things I hate most in any game. I'm okay with some grinding on my terms if it's something that I want to work towards on the side. But there are already so many, like, absolute needed aspects of survival tied to acid. To add aluminum to it is again, it's bad design. Ammunition. So if you want to fight with guns, well, you're already grinding acid for that. If you want any type of healing items, you're already grinding acid for that. If you want to use some of the tactical items, you're already grinding acid for that. To add aluminum in the mix is just again, it's bad game design, and it's very disrespectful to your player base's time, because we're already having to grind for a lot of this stuff. But for that grind that we're already doing, it's already part of the game, and it's manageable. It's manageable. It's not exactly ideal, because grinding acid, like I said, especially for the fact that there is not a reliable, steady source of it, it can be rough. But at least at the moment, it's manageable. But once you throw aluminum into the mix, then it just gets to the point where that's all you're doing is just grinding acid. Because aluminum's going to be required for facilities, for base stuff. It's going to be required for weapons, and I'm sure once you start making some of the high end weapons and stuff, it's probably going to be required to repair them too. So again, it's horrible game design. I mean, this right here, just one weapon. There's one aluminum. There's 4. So we're talking 5 aluminum. So that's 5 acid just to craft this weapon. And if this weapon gets damaged, I can almost guarantee you, because let's look, I'm pretty sure some of my other weapons, yeah, see? All the other weapons require their original ingots to repair. So I'm pretty sure the tier 4 weapons are going to do the same. So, again, basically all you're going to be doing is grinding acid, pretty much. And that is not a good way to treat your players. I've already shown you all the other items that require acid. This is just bad. It's bad game design. And like I said, it's not respectful of your players' time. And I don't even want to know, because we're still relatively early in this stage of the game. Like I said, there could be tons of other items out there that require acid that I just have not found yet. And there are zones and things in the skill tree, the memetics tree, that I'm pretty sure none of us have even seen yet. And acid so far has been a much needed resource from the very start of the game. So if this trend keeps on building and compounding on itself like it already has at this point, literally all we will be doing is grinding and farming acid. And honestly, if that's the way the game ends up going to, I'll be honest, I might have to rethink that. I really might have to rethink that. Like I said, up to this point, the grind and everything has been manageable. But I am definitely starting to notice a trend around acid that seems unattainable. It will not work in the long run, especially if this trend keeps on going the further we progress through the game. If they keep piling on more and more items, especially items that are basically must-haves to play and enjoy the game, like healing items, like ammunition, like weapons and stuff like that. If they keep on adding those items to this list of tons of stuff that already require one shared resource, it will become nothing but a grind fest. And at that point, I I don't know if I'd be able to recommend the game. I'm hoping they change it now. I'm hoping they reconsider it now. I've said this before. Closed betas are the moment when you can step back and say, hey, are we going in a bad direction? Or there's things that we need to change now before we paint ourselves in a corner later on. This is the time, and honestly, aluminum and aluminum's just a symptom of the problem. The main problem, the main disease, is having so many different items tied to one resource. And again, if this is a trend, if we are going to see more and more and more items piled onto this list of already bloated and unwielding things that all require acid, then yeah, it's just going to be a non-stop grind and farm fest for acid. And I don't enjoy games like that. You know, I enjoy some farming, I enjoy some gathering and grinding. But if I'm spending most of my game time just grinding for one resource so I can make ammunition, so I can make healing items just to play the game, that's not a game I'm going to enjoy, and it's not a game I'm going to recommend, because there's so many other games out there that don't have that issue and don't have that problem. So yeah, again, definitely a little bit of a more negative video compared to all the other ones I've made, but kind of like I told you all from the very first video, I will always be open and transparent with my thoughts and my opinions about the game, because I will never stream or make content for a game unless I myself believe in it, enjoy it, and play it. I'm not like some of these big, streamers and content creators that we're all of sudden seeing jump on the bandwagon, and they're making one or two videos just to get a bunch of clicks, and then they never touch the game again. All I've done since the moment this closed beta started was make content and try to make as much helpful and insightful and enjoyable content for the community as I can, because I honestly really do enjoy the game. But this is a troubling trend around acid. Its usage is definitely way too high right now. There are way too many items that require it as a resource. And again, closed beta is the time to walk this back, to look at other options, to see what other paths you can go down to make this not as just unpleasant to deal with as it's starting to get. My hive mate in my hive is already starting to have these issues, around acid. They're having issues keeping up on ammunition because there's all kinds of other stuff that, now we have, aluminum to deal with, So we're, me and a couple other people are already starting to see, again, this troubling trend that needs to be walked back. Anyways, I wanted to get the video out there, especially because for some reason, and this is the other concerning thing too, I'm just going to be upfront about it. And the official Discord channel for Once Human, they have closed their suggestion channel. I don't agree with that. I really don't at all. That was a very bad decision, whoever made that call to close that channel, because now we have no way to share suggestions, and we have no way to see what other players are experiencing and encountering and having issues too, and we have no way to see how big some of these problems might be. Example being, if you have dozens and hundreds of players saying, hey, please change X, Y, and Z, because they're all having the same issues and problems, Well, that lets you know as a player and as a developer, hey, maybe we should look at that. We got hundreds of people saying this is an issue. But now we have no way to see that outside of, talking in the other game channels, which is frowned upon. Because again, suggestions was supposed to be aimed and towards and used in the suggestion channel. But now that's been taken away. So that was a little bit concerning to see that happen today. Supposedly, they're all supposed to be funneled through one person now, which I don't see how that's going to work, and I don't see again. Just that seems off. That seems off to take that channel away from your player base, and basically, honestly, keeping them in the dark. Because now we have no way to check in one place what other players might be having issues with, and just how many of them are having issues with. Because the other thing that made the suggestion channel so important was the fact that you can vote on players' suggestions, and supposedly, if a suggestion got a high enough voting percentage, the developers would look at it. Now all that's gone. Again, now the player base has no reliable way to see what we're all having issues with, and we have no way to kind of let our voices known to the developers, hey, this needs to be looked at. We all agree this is an issue. Please take a look at this. That's been taken away. So that's the other purpose of this video. I hope they rescind that change and they open up the suggestion channel again, because that was not a pleasant surprise to wake up to this morning. So yeah, again, it's not my most pleasant and upbeat video that I've made for the game, but I value my community, and I value their trust, and I want them to know that I will always give them my unbiased, honest opinion. And right now, yeah, that's not great. Today was not a great day to experience some of the things that have been going on in Once Human. So hopefully any developers that do come across this, you will please take all my thoughts and suggestions, and consider them. As always, everybody, thank you all. I appreciate you all. I'm so thrilled with how the community has been coming together, and all the appreciation I've been getting for my Once Human content. I do plan on playing the game still, because I want to see where this goes. We still got like a couple weeks in the beta. I'm hopeful they change things around. I haven't seen any patch notes recently. I've been checking for the patch notes every day. That way I could do another patch note update for everybody. I have not seen anything released recently. So as soon as we get some more patch notes, we'll do another patch notes video. And again, thank you for all my community members in my YouTube family. I appreciate you all. And until next time, hopefully next time we'll have a better video, and hopefully a positive update to everything we talked about today. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And this is your pal Trandell signing out.